say hi. Come on, come say hi. Oh, come say hi. What you doing? What you doing, Boo? Come here. She got the zooms. Come here. All right, hello you guys, and good morning. So today is going to be a super busy day, and I just kind of felt like I was gonna take you guys along with me because tonight we are actually flying again. So I was able to get my passport back. So tonight we are doing our first international trip since having my passport back, and I am officially on my line month. I know last month got like kind of crazy because I told y'all that my laptop had broken. So it was incredibly hard to edit on my other MacBook and see what was going on after it broke because the whole display was broken. And I kind of weighed the pros and cons of like getting it fixed versus just getting a new one. And I felt like, you know what? It's already like relatively old in the world of technology. Let's just go ahead and get a new one. So today we are actually gonna be picking that up. So hopefully I can get a little bit more caught up and I'll have lots of videos coming out for you guys. But other than just getting my MacBook all reset and all that stuff, this kind of felt like the perfect time to do the same thing for my phone because my storage was almost completely full. So this morning while I was having my coffee, just hanging with the dogs, I used the Cleaner Guru app to go through my photos and my videos and kind of clear everything out. And this app is amazing. It makes it so easy to clean out your phone. And I'd also like to thank Cleaner Guru for sponsoring today's video. Cleaner Guru is a super popular app and for very, very good reason. It is used by over 20 million people in 180 countries. But if you've never heard of it before, it is an iPhone app that is designed to help optimize space on your mobile devices. It can easily recognize similar photos, merge duplicate contacts. It can find large video files, unwanted screenshots, and it can clean your iPhone storage in just one tap. It is so easy and user-friendly. It doesn't take a lot of work, and that's why this morning I was just having my coffee and just sitting there scrolling, deleting things, because there are certain things on my phone that I actually really do cherish, especially like the photos with Bubba and some of the stuff that like, I'm never gonna get those back. But it was also kind of like that dreaded thing that was like looming over me because I know exactly how many photos and videos in my phone that like I'm never gonna use again. They're just sitting there and I just didn't want it to take like hours and just stress of trying to delete everything. And it's so easy. It basically recognizes which photo is the best and which ones look really similar. And you can scroll through. So if you think that a different one looks the best, you can definitely see that. But I personally saw that like they were pretty accurate. Like when they picked the best photo, that really was kind of like the best photo. And it just made it super, super easy to go through and just clean up all of your storage. But other than just your photos and your videos, it can also help you clear out your contacts. So if you have like duplicate contacts and your email as well, which I haven't tackled that one, but that is going to be next on my to-do list because I am swimming. And I mean swimming, like deep, I'm in the deep end on the emails. But I just like sat there and it took no time at all to really clear it up. And it was just like a whole weight off of my shoulders. But if you are also interested in clearing up your space and getting a fresh restart, I will link them down below in the description box. And once again, thank you to Cleaner Guru for sponsoring today's video. But anyways, for now, I have not done a garden tour for you guys. So I thought now that things are starting to slowly grow, it's not like completely there yet, but you're gonna see the vision. I thought it'd be cool because a few people were asking to go do like a walkthrough and show everything I have planted and how I organized everything and how I planted it. So I'm gonna go do that and then we'll run some errands and then we're gonna have to start getting ready for our trip tonight. But also one more thing as we're getting up before we head outside. Later I need to talk to you guys because I know some of you have probably seen it from my Instagram story, which if you're not following me on Instagram, you can see more of like my day-to-day life because I generally post there almost daily, I think. But if you did not see that, Booths was actually bitten by a copperhead snake the other day. And so I will catch you guys up on what happened, but also like after that and like what's been going on with that and just kind of get you caught up on some of the things that happened that you missed. All right, so here she is. I finally got the big beds planted, which I don't think I ever showed you guys, and the trellis is all built. So how I did my bed is I'm doing intensive gardening, so I follow the gardener and kind of use her method. So she does a border around the end of herbs and flowers, and that's to help pest control, but also to bring in pollinators. And then I have like different zucchini, this is zucchini, and then squashes and watermelons, and those are at the points of my bed, which you'll see on the other bed a little little bit better. These ones just get really big, so it's easier to have them trailing off the bed. Now, along the trellis, I put indeterminate tomatoes as well as cucumbers. And then next up, I have different pepper varieties, different lettuces, bush beans, radishes, and carrots. So that's kind of what's in this strip that you're not really seeing in different lines. She basically says on her gardening method that after a couple weeks, you don't want to see any soil because that helps with water management, especially when you're in a hot area like us and we're going into the summer months. It'll help keep moisture into the soil. But also over here, this is my fig and rosemary. There's nothing in those. I had pecans from my mom's house and those like little baby pecan trees, but they died. But as you can see, these beds have just taken off and they are mirrored. If there's a mirror right here, that's how the beds are. So I have squash and zucchini over here. I've got lots of different flowers in here, different like marigolds over there, zinnias, nasturtiums, calendula. My radishes are pretty much getting eaten up, so I kind of like that they're going for that versus some of my better crops. We've already been picking a ton of zucchini and squash, also already started giving it away. I've got determinate tomatoes because they only get to about a certain height. The determinate tomatoes are on this side and then the cucumbers are on this side. And then I've got some eggplant and peppers right here. And then over here we've got baby carrots and stuff growing. The only thing is I don't think my onions are doing well and I'm kind of tempted to just pull them and kind of reset the beds. So this bed got overtaken by ants and I have done everything, which is why it kind of looks like that, to get rid of them, and they're still so persistent. But all the onion tops kind of fell off. I'm having like ivy and some of the weeds like coming through the barrier. So I don't think I did a thick enough weed barrier at the bottom and they're just not looking the best. So I'm very, very tempted to just take everything out and reset these beds. But on this side, that's a pecan tree. I just repotted my raspberry because it was like drying out and it was getting too big for their little pots. And then this is thornless blackberry. I've got the grapes going and we've got grapes on the vine coming up. This one doesn't have as many, but it does have some. I don't know who's who, but one of these is a green grape. The other is a purple grape. And then over here, I've got some flowers, herbs, and watermelon. Same for this one. And then in these, this one is a pumpkin, which you can see it's kind of trailing alongside. So this one is a jack-o'-lantern instead of watermelon. But in all the rest of these, it has corn in the middle and then pole beans around it. And then when you go into the greenhouse, it's kind of a mess in here, but I've got our blueberries over here. I've got some lemon balm. This is mango. That's an apple tree. This is mojito mint. That's chocolate mint. And then over here, I've got strawberry mint as well as orange mint. I'm excited to make teas and desserts and stuff with that. Lemongrass. Then this is gooseberry. This is a mulberry. And look at the frogs. They love hanging out in here and I love having them here. So they're kind of all around the greenhouse. There's a big chunker. I don't know where he's at right now. And then one of these is a lemon. The other is a lime. Then I got a Cavendish dwarf banana. These are tulips. I don't know if they're actually going to flower because they're kind of really not doing a whole bunch. Elderberry, pomegranate, mulberries. I don't know who's who anymore, but somebody is an orange, somebody's a lemon, somebody's a lime. So it's kind of my citrus other than the ones that are inside that I got on sale. And then this is my lettuces, but I had to basically repot most of it because they bolted previously. And then I've got herbs going in this one, potatoes, and then I've got olive. I have an avocado, which I also have 2 avocado trees that have gotten really big that I did from seed from the grocery store. So one of them is like one of those huge tropical avocados and the other is a Hass avocado. So those are inside, I'll have to show you. But here's my tower of strawberries and my bush beans, which aren't looking very good, and that's why I put some more in the bed. And I pulled these over here and we kind of just set them randomly because I noticed that things over here were way too crowded and it was hitting each other and it was breaking the plants. So I kind of need to like reset this area. But I've also have some fairy tale pumpkins over here that look like this. So that's this. This is sweet bun corn. So the other one's just regular sweet corn. I've never had this variety before, so I'm excited. I've got some sweet potato slips growing, and then these are planted sweet potato slips. These are all San Marzano tomatoes. I've got basil going, and then some flowers right here. The composter's over here. And our greenhouse is still broken. We kind of just decided that we're not gonna fix it until it's getting closer to needing a new new one, and I'll probably end up repositioning everything and putting like a new one over here of some sort. But this bed has just exploded as well, so I put watermelon here, 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 and here, and then I kind of mirrored this bed on itself this way. One of these trellises is smaller than the other, but it's kind of just outgrowing both of them. So this cucumber on both sides is just taking off. So the way I set this bed up is the same thing with the herbs and flowers and the watermelon on the border. I've got some bell peppers in here, and then inside the trellis I planted some peas. One of these is a snow pea, and I forgot what the other one is. And then I've got cucumbers on two sides and tomatoes, a determinate tomato on two sides. And you can see all the flowers coming in, and they are just doing great. And the pollinators have been amazing with the flowers in the garden. Oh, look who it is. Hi, Bootsy Bootsy. So you might be able to see that Bootsy's got one shaved arm, which we will talk about in a little bit. Bootsy's gonna need breakfast along with the other dogs soon. But anyways, I guess right now I'm gonna get everything just lightly watered, and then we're gonna feed some dogs, get ready, and start running some errands. So the blueberries finally started turning blue, so we picked a couple, but as I was watering, Chip pointed something out. On this watermelon vine is our first watermelon. So this is definitely not my best look, but I'm kind of just in a hurry to get stuff done. So I'm gonna go run by Ross really fast, and then we're gonna go head over to the Apple store to get my new MacBook. I am feeling much fresher and cleaner. So last night I ordered Thai food because Chip was working late, so I just figured it's something that I could eat and then put it in the fridge and he could just heat up later. So I have some leftovers, and this is red curry with some rice. And on the way home from Apple, I just stopped at Panda Express and grabbed some cream cheese rangoons. I ate one in the car because you have to. And then we can chat and eat and catch up on some things. I'm a clean as you cook kind of person, but I know some people like wait till the very end when they're done. What are you? What do you prefer? At the very end or kind of as you go? Ooh, I wish y'all could smell this. All right, let's take this party to go. Oh, and here's my avocado trees, by the way, that I was talking about, that I grew completely from seed. Turn that on. Hi, Poofy Bear. You smell it? Okay, bye. And then I'm gonna have a Sprite Zero with it. I like the bottles just because I can never finish a whole can, and I feel like we waste so much whenever we do that. So the day before yesterday, Chip and I ended up getting my mom and my stepdad tickets to a cooking class. So good. Because my mom's birthday was early this month, and then my stepdad's birthday was a couple days later, and we thought that would be really fun for us and them to go do the class together. But that didn't end until 9 p.m. And so after that, we had to come back home, and we still needed to get all the dogs fed and pottied, which in our house is always like a very hectic time to get all the bowls made because they eat all different food. They're all different sizes and different ages, and everybody eats in their own area and their own house and stuff. It's just a little crazy. So anyways, we got them all fed. I got the little ones pottied, and then it was time to take the big ones for a walk. So Chip was taking Lucy for a walk out the front door, and as soon as he opened the door, Boots was there with a dead copperhead. Oh, are you thirsty? I forgot to put the water bowls back down. One second. I put the water bowls on our ottoman, and she was like trying to jump up there to get water. Originally when we saw the snake, this is gonna be a little bit TMI, but the top of the head was ripped off, and it had scratch marks down the body. So when we kind of saw it at first glance, we weren't exactly sure what it was, but as soon as I saw that bright yellow tail, I knew immediately that's a baby copperhead. Lucy and Bronson don't really like Boots. Now Boots doesn't care about any of them. He doesn't mind dogs at all. And our little dogs and Boots love each other. So that always works out with them, but not with the two big ones. So we rushed Lucy up, and then all of a sudden we brought Boots inside and then took a look at him, and I noticed on one of his paw pads that not on the pad itself, but the little paw pad part right here, there was a puncture wound. And then when I started moving the fur, I saw another puncture wound right underneath. Now, unfortunately, because we're in the country, we don't have an emergency vet close to us. It's still like a 35-minute drive to get to the nearest one to us. But fortunately, we've been there numerous times. Not fortunately, it's actually unfortunately, we're very familiar, especially when we had Bubba. We get Boots into one of our pet carriers, which also Boots is kind of like the neighborhood cat. Like, I don't know if he's owned by anybody or if he's stray, because we just kind of took him in. We gave him a bed. He has this little heated house when it's cold. I feed him twice a day. So if he does have a family, he's living really good, and he spends a lot of his nights here at our house. They have the vet tech come in and take a look at him and then immediately scan him for a microchip, because obviously if he is owned by somebody, they should know what's going on and be able to talk about what kind of care they want to do or whatever. But long story short, there was no microchip. And so then they asked us, are you willing to take all financial responsibility for him? Absolutely, we agreed. Then they took a look at him, and there wasn't really any swelling at all around the injection site, no discoloration. He wasn't really like finding it painful. Like, he didn't love his arm being touched, but he wasn't finding it painful. His behavior was normal. He was still walking around. He wasn't favoring one leg over the other. So that took our like nervous level down quite a bit, which was good. And then the vet tech had to leave, and they're just absolutely slammed. And they had even told us that there was a dog that was right next door that was like life or death situation. And we said, you know, we've been on that end. You do what you need to do, because like, it sucks, you know, it just sucks being on that side. So we totally understood. Later on, the vet tech came back in, checked on us again, and then even let us know, like, listen, we're so booked. If you want care faster, we totally understand. We have another place that's out in like the other side of the Metroplex from us. We were like, listen, you guys were already a drive from us, so we definitely don't want to drive any further. Like, it's okay, like, we totally understand. And obviously we're monitoring Boots's behavior at this point as like he's kind of in the room. Hours had gone by. One of the vets comes in, she's like a younger vet, and she takes a look and she kind of says, you know what? I don't think it's that urgent. I think it might've been a dry bite, but it's still best that you monitor his behavior, and we're gonna go ahead and shave his arm so that way you can keep taking a look. And then after she left, they sent another veterinarian in, and I'm guessing this is like the head veterinarian, and then checked him, checked his heart, checked his breathing, did all the things, and then also kind of said the same, that she thinks Boots just got really, really lucky, because with baby copperheads, it can be extremely dangerous because they can't control their venom. They'll give it all to you or none of it to you. And so she said the other thing is that copperhead bites are very painful for pets, and Boots really wasn't showing any signs of pain, really. She's like, you know, I do think it's a dry bite, but same thing, keep the cat inside, monitor him, all that. Oh, the other thing is, like, whenever they checked him for the microchip, they also did discover that he is a neutered male. So we officially have confirmation that Boots is a boy. So we kept him over, and he seemed to be doing good, and then he stayed at the house all day long yesterday, and he was doing just fine. And then he's been here pretty much, he's right on the patio, I can see him. He's doing fine. So I do think we got really, really lucky, and it was just a dry bite. Oh, but the other thing I forgot to tell you guys, so earlier this week, we were in the backyard with him and the dogs, and then he took off running, and Chip is like, what is he doing? Chases him, and then sees that he's trying to go after another copperhead, and Chip ended that. I'll just put it that way. So this was the second one in a week's time. And I think part of the problem is the lot next to us is a couple acres and it's vacant. Like, somebody owns it, but there's no house on the property, and they don't mow it. So the grass is already 4 to 5 feet tall. It's absolutely huge, which copperheads love to hang out in that stuff. So I ended up finding the number to the people that own that property, and I left them a voicemail explaining what happened, asking them if they can come mow the property, which I hate inserting myself in stuff. Like, it's just not really my style to be like, hey, you need to come do this. And I was really respectful about it and just told them, like, hey, this is what happened. Like, can you please come mow it? But on the flip side of that, technically they are responsible for the upkeep of that property. Like they are supposed to be mowing it. And last summer they mowed it one single time and that was it. So hopefully I'll hear back from them or they'll send somebody to come mow the property. And then I'm hoping in turn that'll keep the copperheads out of the area because they won't have like a bunch of places to hide. Obviously we'll have to be mindful. So anyways, that's basically what's been going on behind the scenes. But now I'm gonna finish eating this and then I have another video that I really want to get up today before we go to work tonight. So I ended up finishing that video, got that posted, and then I packed my bags. After that, I was trying to take a nap to see if I could get some sleep. It did not work. So now I already blew my hair out, but I'm gonna go ahead and curl it with my T3. I feel like I haven't used this in a while, but one of the things that I also wanted to go to Ross for today was to get a new hair straightener because I've had this one for years and years and years, and I feel like it's kind of like already lived the best moments of its life. Like it's just not straightening as well. And so I felt like it was time to get a new one, but they used to have like a lot of like name brand straighteners, I feel like, and then they would have them really affordably. But this time I went and they really didn't have any name brand at all. They just had like super, super cheap straighteners. And my hair is pretty curly, so I actually need like a pretty good straightener to not only straighten it, but also so it'll stay straight. But this T3 is dual voltage, so I can go ahead and pack this and take it with me, which is nice. Which is the other thing that I really like about my straightener, because unfortunately I learned the hard way that my Dyson Airwrap is definitely not. So can't take that with me, even though that's probably the hair tool that's the easiest to do my hair with. But I'll link this down below if anyone's interested. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing my hair and makeup, and then I guess we're gonna have to start heading out of here. So I am officially at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out this vlog here so I can start the next one. But if you guys did enjoy this video, if you wouldn't mind giving it a big old thumbs up, pressing that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.